Dude, what are you thinking about?
Nothing. What were you thinking about?
Nothing. There was this Twitter thread going around where there's this congressperson from New York. I can't remember her name, and she was saying that Republicans secretly want to have sex with her or something.
Are you serious? She's oh my God! What the heck? I mean, what do you?
Are your hands dry?
A little bit. You got a cold? What's going on?
Just a little bit of the sniffles.
I'm gonna put this over here. Okay. Oh goodness. Let's get started. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. And this is Cedric and Brian. Good morning, world.
Good morning.
I didn't get a chance to say that earlier.
You were deep in thought.
Can't take away my tagline, my only tagline.
Right, you were deep in thought about something.
Yeah, football. I was thinking about football.
Yeah,
right?
we'll
Is that what you
call
were thinking about? Football?
If you guys know that story, you know it.
She's not a narcissist at all.
We are talking about AOC.
Yeah.
This lotion is pretty good, actually. Yeah. Okay. All right. What are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about a school in, where was that school in? Virginia, who is thinking about doing away with grading homework because of equity.
What does that mean? What does equity mean?
Equity means that everything has to finish the same. So basically, if I race against Usain Bolt, I get to start 3 yards from the finish, where he gets to start at the normal. Maybe it'll be.
Yeah, as you see, you had a 3-yard head start. I said that's not far enough.
No, I need out of the 100, I'd need at least an 80. That's probably.
You might win by a small margin.
Are you saying because I'm white, I'm not fast? Wow, such a racist.
All right, Virginia. So we're talking about the school board in Virginia, and they're talking about doing away with the grading of certain students because, like Brian said, it's equity. This is a snap thing I'm doing here. If Brian could put these 3 words up. If I told you over and over again, they're all about diversity, inclusion, and equity. Take the first 3 letters of that, things are just sure to die. And anytime you see that any school, and they're doing it not only in the colleges and the high schools, but it's going as far as secondary, elementary, down to kindergarten, and they're just infiltrating this stuff with everything in the school system.
Yeah, and
it's crazy.
And you want inclusion, you want all this stuff, and you want equality. We all want equality. Even dastardly people like us on the right want equality. Mm-hmm. But equity is a different thing. And my question is what is the goal? What is the goal for these people wanting this? I mean, what is the goal in life? What is the goal of school?
Right.
I mean, school is to prepare people, right, for real life.
Exactly.
And what is homework? Homework is also if you're going to be a lawyer. Okay, let's talk about if you want to get out of poverty, you want a job, and then if you want to become rich, and that's the goal of people to become. I think the goal should be to become happy, but a lot of people, especially in a capitalist society, you want to be wealthy. So if you're a lawyer, let's take that. That's one of the fields, right, where you can make a lot of money. Do you think that the lawyers don't take work home? So Absolutely. The ones that are going to pay you the money, you're going to have to learn how to do homework. So Cedric posed the question to his friends that are teachers. And so he's going to go over some of that, and we'll put them up on the board here.
Okay. And I misunderstood the question at first because I posed the question to 10 teacher friends, and I simply said, how do you feel about grading homework? And that wasn't the question. The question is homework equitable to whites, blacks, Hispanics?
Well, but the question posed at the beginning wasn't about homework. It was about grading homework and that it wasn't equitable.
Right.
And again, you'll go over it, but that by posing that question, you're basically degrading people.
Absolutely.
So you're doing the opposite of what you...
It was, I think last summer, I don't know if it was the University of Washington or Washington State University, we did a quick TikTok regarding how they were going to allow ebonics to be in the classroom. And to me, that's very degrading. That's saying, well, as a black individual, you can't speak on the same level as a white person, so we have to speak your language. And I think that's very degrading. I'm not going to share the names. I told them that it would stay anonymous. One person simply said, "Hi, I didn't read it as grading it, But regarding equity, I don't think it is just race related, but also socioeconomic. Working parents, lack of education, etc. So homework shouldn't be new. It should be something everyone can do, like reviewing notes and going over what was discussed in class. I agree with that. I mean, there are some socioeconomic issues because talking to my mother who grew up in Alabama, and I use this rationale a lot, for every excuse that someone comes up for not being able to do something, you can find 500 people who live under the same circumstances, the same conditions, who achieve great things in spite of that. You look at your Thomas Sowells, you look at your Martin Luther King Jr.'s, you look at people who have reached great levels in academia who grew up in poverty and didn't have all the mom and dad in the house and all these situations. And some people will fold under that and say, well, I'm behind the 8 ball, I can't do it. And some people will achieve great things in spite of that.
Right. And that's the key to learning this game of life is you have to learn how to overcome obstacles, because nobody starts, as much as people want it, nobody starts in the same field. Okay, the Kennedys, the Obamas, they're not starting on the same playing field. It has nothing to do with race in those cases. And we talked about this before. Tall people versus short people. Good-looking people versus people that aren't as good-looking. Everybody has to learn how to overcome whatever obstacle it is. And by going to the lowest common denominator, and that's kind of what they say when they don't want to grade things. It's like, well, we don't want certain people to feel bad because they don't get as good a grade. No, you try to have them raised to a level so that they can actually function in the real world, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So
exactly.
This whole equity thing is just a silly utopian concept anyways, because nobody is equal. Nobody's equal. Everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses. And as a society, yes, should we help people that need help overcoming their weaknesses? Yes, but you don't do that by going to the lowest common denominator. You do that by trying to help them raise up to their next level, their potential.
Yeah. I think what a lot of people are saying, like in this day of the 21st century, there's a term out there called 21st century education. And a lot of things are done remotely or by computers now. We all experienced that during 2020 when the schools shut down and people had to do Zoom meetings and things of that nature. And they're saying that a lot of minorities don't have the socioeconomic means or the finances to have a computer, to have a laptop. I kind of disagree with that because during the days that they had the Obama phone, and if you want to get technology, it is pretty accessible to you.
But I'll go one step further. So let's say you're teaching in a poor area. Mm-hmm. You go back to old school, give books.
Right.
You can still do homework with books. You don't have to have a computer.
Right. You're old.
I know.
Boy, you turn the pages.
But I mean, there's always an excuse. And I had a philosophy about this. It seems that the people that push this stuff are usually on the left.
Yes.
Well, what do we know about the left? The left, for the most part, not everybody, don't get mad at me, they're usually the ones that don't like capitalism. They're usually the socialists, the democratic socialists. Since they don't like money, grades are basically in school, that's their form of money. The better you do in society, the more money you make. The better you do in school, the better your grades. They don't like either concept because they don't like capitalism.
Right.
Right? So there's a parallel, and there's a reason why this certain sect of people, and when I talk about certain sect, I'm not talking about color of skin, because Cedric and I, we don't separate people like that. It's your character and your beliefs. These beliefs on the left, since they don't like capitalism, they don't like money as a reward, obviously they're not going to like grades as a reward.
Exactly. Here's another text from another friend of mine, another teacher friend of mine, who said, I have never viewed homework or assignments through the lens of quote-unquote fairness. I heard this from a teacher who had more experience than me. He said, the kids, regardless of race, who deserve to do well in school will complete most or all assignments regardless of value. Students who are lazy and lack a desire to do well in school, regardless of race, will not complete most or all assignments. I mean, that could be a mic drop moment right there. It's like those who want to do it will do it. And the thing is, especially with kids, and this applies to adults too, mainly with kids, if you give them an out, they will take it.
Yeah.
But if you challenge them and you say, I believe in you, you're incredible, you're awesome, you can do this. Yeah, you need a little bit more help, but you can do it. They will rise to the challenge.
But I think that point was so important, because you're going to have people that are gifted mentally over other people. what homework teaches, and one of the things on this Virginia school is they wanted to take away extra credit. They wanted all this. But in real life, if you're not an Einstein, but you're a really hard worker, you can still achieve. This teaches you, even, and this is when I go back to busy work, if you're somebody that can grind it out, you can still be successful, even if you don't have the mental capacity of somebody who, let's say, they get straight A's on their tests without having to do the homework. Mm-hmm. They have the advantage if you don't do homework now because they're just going to ease through it. Right. If you take grades away from them because they don't do the homework, that actually equals it out a little bit. So now the smarter kids still have to do the grunt work, and the grunt kids can make up grades by doing that hard work.
Exactly.
So again, when you go through this lens that, oh, everybody's equal, when it's just a silly notion, it's not. I could never be anywhere near as smart as Einstein or most of those people. I'm not an astrophysicist, but I can still make a living by grinding it out.
Exactly.
So that's what it's teaching kids. That's why the whole concept of this is so silly, and I know they mean well. I hope they mean well.
Right.
But again, I think it goes back to they don't like judging people.
Exactly. And I love using sports analogies and people who are in the police and the Air Force, the Marines, the military, because it provides such a rich and fertile soil for analogies. But if you're on a football team and the coach said, well, we need the linemen to bench press this much, or we need the running backs to run the 40 in this amount of time, and you say to other kids, well, you can't do it, but we'll let you pass, you're not building that muscle. The brain is a muscle, and homework helps exercise that. They may not do exceptionally well, but it also gives them a chance to go back and look at it and say, okay, this problem had maybe 4 or 5 steps to it. Here's where you made your mistake here at number 3. But if you don't do that, if you don't have a check and balances, how do you know if you're doing well?
Right.
And then they get to the test and they bomb it, and it's like, well, I didn't know what to do. The homework is the little steps you take before the quiz or before the test.
Yeah. And I think by grading it and giving extra credit and all that, it actually helps the kids that may not be as smart, because they're going to get credit now for working harder.
Yes.
It's kind of like, and I'm going to give you an analogy, and Cedric will hate this because it's a Rams analogy. But one of the number 1 receivers this year is a guy named Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm. He is.
He is not the fastest guy, but he knows what to do, and he works hard. So he wasn't gifted with these abilities that maybe, who's the guy who walked off the field?
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown, who was gifted, just talent. But mentally, he's just nutcase. And then you've got a guy who's not gifted as talented, but has worked his whole life really hard and is able to rise up. So these kids...
It helps that he's black.
Cooper Kupp's black?
Oh, is that the whole point?
Has nothing to do with race, Cedric. Cedric's always got a bit of race into it. Oh, my goodness.
No, he is a hard worker.
It's just, homework gives the hard workers an advantage, I think.
Yeah.
And the smart, lazy kids, it's going to give them a disadvantage. So, in a way, homework actually causes more equity.
Absolutely.
That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
What do you guys think?
Yeah. And I know a lot of my teacher friends, they kind of agreed on one thing. All 10 of them said, do not give homework out for the sake of doing homework. And I'm not going to go too much on the whole teaching thing, but one teacher talked about the whole flipped classroom, where let's say we're going to talk about the Civil War. You talk about the Civil War, you have the kids do their own research on Tuesday, give them videos, give them pamphlets, give them things like that. And then on Wednesday, you talk about and go into more depth. When you and I were growing up, we talked about the Civil War on Tuesday in the classroom, and then Tuesday night and Wednesday, we had to do our own research. Right. So this is what a flipped classroom is all about. And I like that. And that's the way of putting the onus back on the student and say, because teachers can only do so much.
Right.
And parents can only do so much, especially when both parents are out and they're working and things like that. A student has to take it upon themselves to put down the damn remote control to the video game and to stop messing around.
And it teaches them that the more successful you're going to be in life are the kids that do take it upon themselves to take that extra step. Not the kid who just sits and does bare minimum of what he's supposed to in the classroom.
Right. So
it carries on to real life in our capitalist system.
Right. And I want to share this really quick. It was another friend of mine. Not that I agree or disagree, but I'm going to have Brian put this cartoon up on the board. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this cartoon. It summarizes our education system. and the professor says everybody is a genius, that if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. And I understand what this cartoon is saying. The professor actually says, for a fair selection, everyone has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. Now, in this analogy, the fish is going to fail because fish weren't designed to climb trees. I'm going to take it one step back and say that we were all created. We were all created with the certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and we were made in the image. Whether you believe in God or you want to call it intelligent design, whatever it was, I take that to heart and says we were all created equally. Now, some are going to, like Brian was saying earlier, some are going to apply more to themselves and strive harder than others, and that's going to be the separation between those who make it and those don't.
Yeah, this is so silly because...
It's silly, because what if you put the elephant in the water?
Yeah, I mean, and they're talking about different species. It'd be like saying, right. Me and my dog or my cats, we're supposed to be equal. It's like, that's just silly. As human beings, genetically, we are all equal. We're all the same species. So this whole thing is just dumb.
Yeah.
So for somebody to use that as some type of analogy is just stupid.
It's a damn shame.
Damn shame. We're trying to overcomplicate things, man. I have to send you home with some homework.
All right. Well, no, don't give me that. Give me enough homework.
I'll be grading it.
So, I know we've had several teachers who listen to our show. Let us know what you think. And again, like I said before, the teachers that I talked to who live in our area, they were all in agreement that don't give homework just for the sake of giving homework. But at the same time, don't insult a student because they have certain socioeconomic challenges or because they have certain race. They're not racially the same as the ones who are higher up in the class. Give them a chance. When I taught math, and this is going to be pigeonholing someone, I had an Asian gal, and we would give these mathematics. Remember when you were little, you took the times tables test, and they were timed? She felt insulted because she finished in like 15, 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. And everybody else is like, I'm only on number 5. It was like 100 questions, something like that. And she would just zip through them. And I asked her one day, I said, what is it about you that you're just so gung-ho with math and you're just so good at it? She goes, well, coming from China, it's what we did. We spent 8, 9, 10 hours in school. To catch what I'm saying, I am not saying that Chinese kids are better at math. No any more than I'm saying that Usain Bolt is more naturally gifted at running. I'm just saying that Chinese students, they take that more seriously. And Brian and I were talking about this before we started filming. You see all the doctors that come over here from Haiti and Africa, and they achieve incredible, awesome results because they treat education over there the same way we treat athletics over here in the States. Mm-hmm. And I said, if we took some of our kids who are so gung-ho about football and baseball and basketball, these travel teams have taken on a life of their own, where kids they don't have time to do homework because they have to go to football practice or baseball practice or basketball practice in the hopes of maybe getting that college scholarship. But once you get to college, who's doing your homework for you? Because obviously you haven't done it. All right, so once again, let us know what you guys think. You guys have been doing a great job of that as the feedback that we get in the comments section. What do you think about homework? Is it fair? Is it equitable? Whatever that means.
Or is it grading it fair?
It's grading it. That's right. It's grading it fair. Homework is grading it for.
And it goes further than that because some of these same people, they want to take grades out of school. Period. Yeah. Again, you
need a measuring stick.
If we're gonna train people and get them ready for the real world, and the real world is capitalism, where you're rewarded for doing your work with money, then we have to teach them a reward system with school with grades. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right. Exactly.
And I think you told me about that experiment they did where they decided to make the classroom socialism.
Yeah.
And they took the hardworking students and the lazy students, and they just said, we're just going to give everybody the average grade. Mm-hmm. And then what happens? By the end, everybody fails because the kids that worked hard said, well, I'm not going to work hard anymore. And the kids that didn't work said, well, I'm getting the same grade whether I work or not. Yeah. So grades are important. Homework is an extension of school, so grades and homework, I believe, is still important.
Exactly. So you guys do your homework, leave a comment.
Yeah, that's right. Your homework is to grade us. And we can only get graded if you leave comments.
Grade me on the curve.
Because you can't even give thumbs up and thumbs down because nobody knows what the thumbs downs are anymore. Not that we ever give.
All right. And we're going to finish up here. So, guys, make sure you like. Did you want to do this, or should I do it?
Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell. And share this video with everyone you know.
I am not that over the top when I do it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time, and continue being good to each other.
Try that again, because that was terrible.
Okay.
There.
I am not.
Maybe you need to lather up again.
Which part are you cutting out and which are you not? Jeez.
Go ahead.
All right, you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Please continue being good to each other. And until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. See ya! Good stretch. I don't think we were filming. Yeah, we did. Okay. Let's do the other. Let's do